Market failures and the role of government. Markets are a very efficient tool to allocate our scarce resources. And in many, many cases, markets do give us a effective, efficient allocation. However, there are some instances where markets do not give us an optimal allocation of resources. This is what we call market failures. Market failures are different types. Sometimes we will underproduce, meaning we are not producing enough of the goods that are wanted by society, which means we in turn also have higher prices. Sometimes we overproduce. Prices will be too low, we're producing too much. And sometimes the goods and services that we produce are unequally distributed, which means some groups in the population are unable to acquire them. This leads to inefficiency. So the markets are at equilibrium. They come to an equilibrium. However, that equilibrium is not optimal. It is not the best that we could get. Certain things are important for markets to be efficient. They require competition. They require accurate information about cost and benefit of products. And they require the production of goods that people actually want and need. And so sometimes when there's not enough competition, the market will not work well. We will tend in that case to underproduce goods and services. Sometimes you don't have that accurate information about the cost or the benefit of the product, and that leads to what we call externalities. And when there are externalities in a market, you tend to over or underproduce, which means you're over or underusing the resources that we have. And the last one, sometimes you're not able to produce the goods that people want. And that's when you have public goods, which are very difficult to produce from a private market perspective. And sometimes you have issues of inequity where some groups in the population are unable to acquire the goods and services that they want and that they need. So when the markets fail, there is the possibility, the potential for the government to improve on that market and correct the market failures. And the government can achieve this in various ways. It can legislate and pass some rules and regulations. It can choose to tax and subsidy various industries to achieve a better efficiency in the market. Or they can even go into the production of certain goods, like public goods, to provide them to the population because they are valuable and goods that people do want in the market. So we will talk next about externalities as an example of market failure and how the government can potentially help improve the outcome in the market.